welcome to the Google Workspace Admin Briefing Monthly Updates for EDU What's Up Wednesday edition. The focus of this series is to talk about best practices for Google Admin, especially in the back-to-school time of year. And I want to just take a second to share the fact that this entire series is going to be done not through a PC, not through a Mac, but actually through a Google Chromebook Plus device. And I've been exclusively using this device and have set my Windows device aside just for the sake of learning how comprehensive the product can be and how well it can work for me within my day-to-day work environment. So welcome, and let's get to it. First off, this What's Up Wednesday Admin Console edition, as part of our back-to-school series, has 5 major focus areas: maximize reporting tools, Chromebook management, security center settings, data retention policy setting, and investigation tool application. So over the course of the next 5 Wednesdays, whether they're subsequent or not, I'll be covering these 5 areas. So today's focus area will be maximizing reporting tools. So within the Google Admin Console, there are a series of reports that you can pull down. Within the Education Plus license, there's even more of them. And I want to talk about 5 of my favorite reports as a former school administrator in the IT department who on a regular basis needed to look at data and use that data within my IT department and even for a wider audience, such as the cabinet and even the school board. So let's get started. Looking at maximizing reporting tools within the admin console. So key questions. First of all, what is your security operations cadence? So in other words, like what is the cadence that you have, or the regular meetings that you have around security and cybersecurity? Are you meeting on a regular basis with your team? Are you taking the time to look at logs, to act on security concerns, to discuss your cybersecurity posture? If not, this is a great opportunity to put that in place this academic year and get rolling on that. Because what you'll find with this presentation today is that you'll end up with lots of reports and lots of log files that you could take some time to look at and use within the security operations cadence. Okay. So, first of all, we want to look at how we can maximize apps usage reports. Okay, in the admin console, you can navigate to reports, user reports, and app usage. You'll see a list of all Google Workspace apps used in your domain along with usage summaries. Use the filters to specify the date range, user, organizational unit, or specific app, and then click Run Report. So, for example, you might be looking at your Google Classroom usage. You know, how much is that app being utilized within your organization? Is it being maximized? Are you getting the return on investment that you would like? Again, this is just basic access and usage of the tool. It is not a comprehensive look at the pedagogical practices of the classroom teacher within the course. It's just simply a usage report, but it is very useful for being able to share with teaching and learning or curriculum and instruction, the cabinet teams, and so on. Once you've done that, like I said, you can click Run Report. You can open that report in Google Sheets. And once it's open, then you can do all of the things that you need to do within there, such as pivot tables and graphs and so on and so forth. You can also then open that CSV file within Microsoft Excel if that's something that you wanted to do for enhanced capabilities. And the data available, you could find the number of unique users who accessed each app, the number of times each app was accessed, total time spent using each app, and then the breakdown of usage by organizational unit or user. So you can see really, like, if you're taking a look at, you know, how much in the primary level, you know, grades K1, 2 are, or is Google Classroom being utilized. You can take a look at that, and then you can act on that data. Okay, then maximizing the security report. Just another report that you can use and take a look at. So if we're getting into the cybersecurity world here, there is a security report underneath reporting, user reports, and security. Within that report are a series of columns, and some of those really crucial columns are monitoring two-step verification adoption, This report shows which users have enabled 2SB, a critical security measure, as you all know, to protect accounts from unauthorized access. Now, one of the things here would be whether or not you're forcing this policy, which at this point, most cybersecurity insurance policies are requiring that you have multi-factor authentication in place. And so now you can see who has put this into place as an end user and who might be dragging their feet for multitude of reasons, right? It might be simply that they don't know how to do it, or maybe they don't access their accounts very often. So this helps you target those users and be able to assist them. Assessing password strength, right? So the report provides information on password compliance and strength. Just a great thing to do if you have a password policy in place. Identifying potential security risks. Of course, by reviewing the security related data, you can proactively identify potential risks. Again, here's the big thing here is, do you have a cybersecurity posture where you're meeting on a regular basis? Ensuring compliance. Schools often have specific security requirements and regulations to adhere to. So for example, think about document retention policies, think about password policies, think about all the other things that you may have in place. This is a place to go to figure that out if your end users are doing what they need to do. And then finally, educating users. This is a great way to help determine who might need more education on what to do and why within your environment in your organization. API reporting. Okay, so this is a great one here to take a look at, what API or what tools are using API to access our Google environment. So underneath the reporting menu, apps, reports, and API controls, you can take a look at, again, last year Google forced end users or forced administrators to take a look at their API environment already and determine, which tools were utilizing Google for login. This is just, again, further, these tools or this report allows for you to take a look at what is, on that list that you okayed, and then also what might be growing within this environment after Google put those practices in place or requirements in place. So monitoring third-party app access, managing app permissions, assessing app security, okay, enforcing data governance policies. Go back to a previous slide where we're talking about policies. So if you have strict data governance policies in place, the API control report allows administrators to enforce these policies by controlling which apps have access to sensitive data. Pretty significant report item. And then protecting student and staff data. Again, all of these reports allow for them to be pulled down and open in Google Sheets. Okay, so when we talk about those reports and why they are important for your environment and where to access them, what we can do here is I'll just take a couple of seconds and jump into the admin console and show you where you might find these, and then just that real quick process of creating one and pulling it down and then opening it in Google Sheets. Okay, now that we're in the admin console, you can find the reports that I've been discussing underneath reporting, and user reports and apps usage is the one I want to take a look at now. I think it's one that's just really nice because it's really easy to understand in terms of how you might use it, and also just in terms of, the basic mechanics of it. So there are, of course, across the top, a couple of filters that are set up by drop-down, and then, of course, a few more filters. I say a few, but there's quite a bit that you can set here within the filter box. So for this particular report, let's take a look at the Trafera staff and our app usage here. And if we wanted to add a filter, we could, for example, go ahead and say how much storage was used. Okay, and we could, with that filtering structure, you have to say equals, right? Or less than, so on and so forth. So let's say greater than 1. Okay. All right. Now that comes back with nothing. So then we'd go back to the filtering process and make sure that we had some data that would feed out. Okay. So you understand how that part of the filtering process works. And then of course we still have the OU of Trafera staff selected. Once we have this report the way that we want it, and we've got Gmail storage used and Drive storage and so on and so forth across the top. And again, this can be customized, and you can go within the settings gear here and get rid of some of these columns if you want. So if we're kind of not really interested in email and we got rid of all of our Gmail filters or columns, we could do that, and then we click save, and now we have less columns to deal with. So that is a great feature that's available there with that settings gear. And then when we're ready to pull it down, we click the download button, and then we can pull it down into Google Sheets version or CSV version, depending upon what you want to do with that data. Of course, Google Sheets, now we're going to open it up in Google Sheets and be able to work around with it in there. CSV is great for if you're going to pull it into Microsoft Excel. So I'm going to hit download there. It takes a little bit for that report to populate, depending upon how much data is in there, how many users, and so on and so forth. And then when I open that report in Google Sheets, now I've got my data that I can use. And I can go ahead and manipulate this data in here, create pivot tables, create graphs, whatever I want to do within this environment. And of course, if you're running Gemini at all, you can engage the assistance of Gemini in the process. So enjoy. And hopefully you got something out of this today. Come back next time and we will take a look at a new topic in our admin series.